Good morning, Bitcoin. Welcome to Proof of Work. My name is Thomas Hunt, and this is Proof of Work, a show about the people behind Bitcoin. We're joined by Chief Monkey from HodlrDotRocks. How's it going, Chief Monkey?
Good, Thomas.
So we're here. You were showing us some Bitcoin art earlier. You had some kind of laser printed work and stuff. But we want to start with everyone's favorite and most familiar question. What was your first computer?
First computer was a Commodore 64.
And what did you do with it?
Played games. Recorded, copied, actually, hundreds and hundreds of games on the C90s.
There it is.
We had ghetto blasters, and you'd play them back to back. You'd put one in front of the other and just record it, and you just cram as many games on.
So you could have a cassette tape, and you'd copy the cassette tape by listening to it?
Yeah, because you had before you had the tapes, you'd just have cassette tapes.
Sure.
And you just put them together.
But you could hear the program.
Yeah, screeching away. Yeah.
No, that's a level of like piracy that I was never into. I mean, I was, copy that floppy. That's me, of course. And one of the best things I remember is SimCity back in the day had a red manual with black writing. And the reason was so it was difficult to photocopy.
Right.
You needed to enter the little codes. You couldn't do it. And I remember mine was like just very dark. And depending on what code it came up, depended whether or not I could play SimCity. If it was too far in the right-hand corner, I couldn't play. I had to set it till I got a better code. So you had the Commodore 64 and you're playing the games. What kind of games did you play? I remember Commodore 64 very early. I had we played like a karate game, and then I played, I think it was Lode Runner. Really good game.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I had a Bruce Lee, and I don't know if I did. No, not E.T. That was on the Atari.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, no, that's a legendary game.
Unbelievable.
Really difficult for me to remember the games we played. But yeah, Bruce Lee was a common one. I remember that. Yeah.
Sure, and just with the keyboard, and they had a little joystick on the Commodore sometimes. But how did you go from there to getting into art? Did the computer involve in your art, or did you kind of drift apart?
Yeah, so I was moving away. I've been into digital. I was building websites in the mid-90s, and I'd been into digital marketing and had my own company. I actually started off in the adult industry for the first 6 years of my career, and I learned so much then about just the innovation, what was going on. I didn't want to be in that industry. I kind of fell into it.
Well, and we were talking earlier just how innovative they were, and their credit cards, secure servers, streaming video. Everyone loves these now. But that was all porn back in the day.
That's how I try and explain Bitcoin to some people, is because to make that analogy, when they just don't understand it, they say, oh, they have a problem with the scaling. I go, how good was it downloading porn in 1994?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was a joke you couldn't stream, but they pushed. I think the demand in that industry encouraged the innovation for pulling in the speeds. But that's where we are with Bitcoin at the moment, I think. But so
you started out there, you're doing the digital marketing, the website.
Yeah, and I had my own company, employed my own developers, and we're making digital marketing apps on the iPhone.
Sure, great.
But ultimately, my head wasn't in it. I'm a sort of entrepreneurially minded, creative minded, but I've had enough of that world.
Yeah.
I was part of that world where you're looking at everyone's user data and then using it against them to sell them stuff they don't want. I'm very familiar with how intrusive
funnel,
advertising can be.
Funnel, and they go through the funnel, and you watch everything they do.
Funnel,
conversions,
for sure. Cost per conversion, So I fully understand all that. I'm very used to sort of playing with big budgets and spending it wisely. But I can't sort of bear that industry anymore, and I really don't want to get involved with that industry anymore. But the last company I worked for was I don't know whether I should mention them really.
You don't have to.
I don't mind because
company, no one knows.
They're having a little bit of trouble. But my last company I worked for was AuditChain.com. And I who having a spot of bother. But I'm just gonna, if I can move over that. But I was there. I helped at the beginning, and then I left. But I just don't want to go back to that industry because I do know how intrusive it is, and I'm a creative guy. Always have been. And when I sort of came across, my girlfriend is a mosaic artist, and she's kind of brought out the creativity in me. But I basically, to cut a long story short, I discovered laser cutting machines.
Interesting.
And I realized that anything in my head I can like dump down and I can make in using a laser cutter.
So how does the process work? You start out with a computer file, like a Photoshop or something like that.
Basically, yeah.
And the laser cuts the design out of wood, plastic, anything, that kind of thing, or? Pretty
much. I mean, and rock. I can engrave rock. It's really, really powerful. But I will do my pattern, my design.
Right.
It's in layers.
Okay.
I want to always have that 3D effect.
Sure.
My art, I don't want it just to be put on the wall. I quite like it when people pick them up and hold it. That's why I think I asked you, just hold it.
At it and it really does bring the 3D effect out, because like you say, there's multiple layers to the background, and then when you hold it up and you move it around. Yeah.
So I get the boards, I color them, I put them in a machine, cut it out, and then glue them together. And it's a fairly simple process, but I'm running with a strap line of world's first laser cutter crypto crafter.
There you go. That's good.
Rolls off the tongue.
Bit of a mouthful, yeah. That's gonna maybe smaller. We have a piece of your art. Dan's gonna bring it in here.
So I just,
sure you
can. You want to talk through it?
Yeah, no. This piece is actually much larger. This was a proof of concept piece, but years ago I sort of made this phrase: you either ride the waves of change or just float in the ocean. And so this piece is called Satoshi Rides the Waves of Change. And so this is a much bigger piece, but so there he is. And if I put it, I don't know if I can get in close. There are sort of logos of all some of the blockchain technology that's sort of on the wave. I couldn't put those logos on the bigger piece. It didn't work. But yes, that's what that is.
Very cool.
Epic.
And you had 3 of those this morning, and now I think you have 1, because I know Dan and I bought 2 of them.
It's looking very lonely on its own now.
Yeah. So that's what you want at the booth, though. At the end of the day, cleared out, sold out. A lot of times, and people are in a good mood. The thing went up a couple of days ago. But sometimes they're in a bad mood and they won't buy anything. I think people are in a good mood at this conference. They're gonna buy stuff.
I hope so, because I didn't know we would have a table to sell some stuff. Sure. So that what you see there is just 4 weeks of shit. Let's just make some products. So we just made a load of stuff.
Awesome.
But we're all about the art is what I'd like to be remembered for, not the crypto swag bag. Although that's just a bit of fun. And thank you, Dan, for being the first guy. You were my first crypto purchase. I have to say thank you to Breadcoin. It worked nicely. It just went ping straight away. It took seconds.
Thank you. It's an awesome piece.
So now you go to conferences and sell your art. Do you also sell it online? How's it going?
Yeah, no, that art is selling online, and it's picking up in like the sort of the people who like the crypto art. So most of the stuff has been bought, all with Bitcoin, of course. But this is the first conference I've been to, and I'd love to go to more, to be honest. It's a good vibe. So it's nice to be speaking crypto geek for 24 hours.
That's it. And have someone that actually knows what you're saying and wants to talk back to you. So many times you talk to somebody on the street and you say Bitcoin, and they're, what is that? Some kind of joke currency, or it's very small? It's a bit.
Do you go around and ask like shop owners or taxi drivers? Are you that persistent with asking people? Do you know what I mean?
Originally I was.
As a litmus test?
All the waitresses, and I'd see if they knew about it. And originally they didn't. So no one knew about it, or they thought it was a drug thing. They're like, oh, you must be in the Silk Road and all this. I'm like, no, not really. I just like money, and I think money's important. But the monetary policy, things like that, complexities. But now it's more like I'll tell the Uber drivers about it just because it comes up. Because, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm in town for a Bitcoin convention. And then we're off to the rails. I have no choice but to talk about it.
Yeah, so, I'm actually finding, because I still ask like shop owners to go, I am finding now like more people will go, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's usually like 80% now.
They know that it goes up in value. So they're like, hey, maybe I should, take $100 of that and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Whereas before they're like, that's nasty drug money. If I take that, I'm going to be involved in your nasty drug conspiracy. So they were not as interested. So
But it is actually the worst form of money to use for buying drugs,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's
It's the most traceable, isn't it?
And then you have those stories, people coming back to you, oh, I spent 1,000 Bitcoins on some drugs and I feel so terrible and the drugs are gone. And it's like, yeah, it's getting pretty rough. Like if you don't rebuy.
That's why we made...
You just rebuy it, you know?
Yeah, that's why we made that paddle. I don't know if you saw the spanking paddles. It said, don't spank your crypto. Don't buy a Lambo.
There you go, I know. Well, sometimes it's a good store of value. There's some recent problems we had where if you bought a Lambo at the peak, you're still holding a Lambo. So, but that's really interesting. And you also sell them on your website. Where can people find them online? Do you ship them? Or
yeah, no, I sell them anywhere in the world. I'm actually sending one over to India now. HodlrDotRocks, that's HODLR.rocks. So.
And do you have anything planned for the future? Is there any art that you're thinking about right now? A little teaser. Just you don't have to reveal the whole thing. But...
No, I'm going to do something more challenging. At the moment, the art I've done is following. You'll see the sunrise and the Bitcoin price in the background. But the stuff, and I love that, and I might do some more. But I want to go more with slightly more political, down the Bitcoin not bombs route. To, just to be a bit more, I don't know, for the things that I believe in, why I got into Bitcoin in the first place. I was from that sort of more libertarian or just the anti sort of fractional reserve banking monetary system. We had this sign that was
up here at the beginning of the interview. It says, Chancellor on the brink of second bailouts for banks. So in a lot of things, people are always ragging me. They're like, don't make it political. Don't mention political things. Don't talk about politics. Well, Satoshi, from the very first block of this thing, put a political statement in there. So it's always going to be political. So.
Good. So I'm going to go more down that route. So.
All right. Well, it sounds great. And everyone can check it out at HodlrDotRocks. Thanks so much, Chief Monkey, for joining us.
Thank you.